Madam Speaker, I'm Shamari Stone from Como 4 News. I have a question for you that hasn't been pointed out, but a lot of Americans feel this way. Do you think it's fair to send people to jail for not buying health insurance?
Well, the point is that we want to make sure that everyone has access to health care. For a long time now, people who haven't have health care or provided it have placed the burden on others. Everybody is paying the price for uncompensated care. I don't need to tell you that in a hospital. And so what this is to say we all have to do our part, and that is the point of the bill.
But the House keeps in this bill, excuse me, failure to comply with individual mandates in this bill could lead to a $250,000 fine and 5 years in jail, criminal penalties that are a felony if you willingly choose not to participate, if you willingly choose then not to pay the fine in your taxes. And, Mr. Speaker, what we're going to do is criminalize Americans who choose not to join in this government-run health care system. There are not unintended consequences. The members need to know.
But, Madam Speaker, I'm just trying to understand. If you don't buy health insurance, you go to jail?
Well,
you didn't answer my question.
I think the legislation is very fair in this respect. It gives people an opportunity to have health care, access to quality health care. If they can't afford it, it provides subsidies for them to do so. But do you think it's fair if somebody says, well, I'm just not going to have it, and if I get sick, then I'll just go to the emergency room and send the bill to you? That's my view on the subject. Yes, next.
Look inside that bill, and you find handcuffs. Now, I'm not talking about figurative handcuffs. I'm talking about criminal penalties. Criminal penalties that have been mentioned by the gentleman from Texas, criminal penalties that have been mentioned time and again on this floor. We've heard from the best and the brightest all afternoon, and not a one of them have answered why it is you have to criminalize people to coax them into a plan that's fabulous. It makes no sense. And this isn't my words. This is actually coming from the Joint Committee on Taxation, a letter that was written, ironically, with Chairman Charlie Rangel as the chairman of that committee, released 48 hours ago, that says, in fact, if you don't comply with the individual mandate, what happens to you? You can be subject to 5 years in prison, and you can be subject to $250,000 in fines. And the other side, with all due respect, with all the adjectives and all the flourishing speech, have failed to answer that question. And I submit to you, if we listen today, if we listen to the remainder of this debate, they will be silent in terms of a good answer as to why it is you need to criminalize people to coax them into a plan. It's a failure. And we ought not stand for it.
Speaker Pelosi, can I ask you one more question, please?